Hello viewers, welcome to CodeForAny. Fruit markets, nodes, and app and backends API inside. Today need to start this here the order place API. Need to two or three parts inside the creating this API. First ones need to make this here the items. Order items need to manage these here for these tables. Now need to create here the API for the order place. Now need to write down here the app.post slash API slash app slash and to write down here the order place. And now need to give this here the request response like this. Need to write down here. So now need to give this here the helper dot delogs and to print here the request body for the debug purpose. Now need to request object dot is equal to need to write down here the request dot body. And now need to check this here the access tokens and give this here the request dot headers and to pass this here the response objects. If here the valid tokens, then to get this here the user objects need to return this here for this API calls like here. So now need to access only this here the users this API. That's why I need to give this here the pass here the one for the one types users need to checking here. Now we need to check parameters. We need to put here the helper dot check parameter valid. So need to give this here the response and request object need to give this here. And now need to check here the inside key availables or not. So need to check this here the missing parameters. If here the not any missing parameter, then to get this here the callbacks need to get like this here the callbacks blank callbacks. So need to get here. Now need to give this here the parameters. First of all, so need to go inside. We need to open this here this tables and we need to select query. We need to write down here the SQL select and we need this here the payment type and address like this. We need this here the value. We need to parameters. We need here and to paste this here. Now replace with here the double quotes like here. We need to put here for the API. Need to set here like this data and we need to set this here the need these parameters. Now first of all, we need to access here the get user cards. We need to get here. So need to call this here the db dot query like here. And now need to go here the SQLs, select these tables and to card tables need to select here card details. Now need to go inside the SQLs and to select query. Now need to give this here the alias like here. You need to set this here for this data like this. We need to put this here for this ordering here the. Now need to set here the cd and need to create here the inner joins. First of all, need to give this here the needs here the cd dot user underscore id and question marks need to set here the and cd dot status needs here the active set here one like this. Set here the conditions. Now need to join here the price tables inner joins and you need to set this here the price details as need to give this here the pd on methods. Need to call this here the pd dot price id equal to pd dot need to set this here the cd dot price id underscore id. We need to put years for given this years for this query and set here the status and we need to give this here the pd dot status like here. Need to remove this here the status on it. Now need to clean here and we need to pass this here the column alias every place user id and quantities like need to give this here to set here the one for these items like we need to conditions we need to apply here. Now we need to set this here the units, also need to needs here the calculates here the units, need to given these years relate to put these years. Now this value need to get here for this database. Now need to use this query here, cut here, and we need to paste this query here, need to use this here the single quotes, and also need to give this here the single quotes and bind this query here. Request to get this here the errors and result these functions returning this tag here, and set like this here. Format this text like here. Now need to write down here the if error, and we need to call this here the helper dot throw html errors and response, and return these functions. Now need to check here results dot length more than 0, otherwise need to return this here the else response status, and to set this here the 0, and to write down here the message cart is empty, like this need to return this here the message here. Now we need to creating here the another insert query. We need to write down here before inserts. We need to calculate here the amounts of the totals. We need to creating here like here. We need to apply here, and this API inside today not bind here the offers, because we need to another episodes inside the covers and modify this here the API. Now only we need to inserting without hoppers all cards items need to put here. Now need to write down here the result for each, and we need to get this here the items as we need to get this here the value. We need to get here the arguments. We need to getting here the value first of all. Need to give this here the C object means cart objects, and need to get here the indexed like here. Need to set here. Now first of all making here the insert query, you need to put shares. Now need to go inside here the database, and to go inside here the item details. Before to item details we need to creating this here the order details, because I need to bind with here this order ID, need to make sure, so need to configure here. That's why I need to first of all need to creating here the this orders, need to set here. Now we need to write down here the db query here, db dot query like here. Need to set this here the query as inserts, need to call here like here's insert query. To no needs here the order ID, you need to clean here's payment types, also the payment status need to clean here's address, zip codes, totals, amounts of orders need to later creating here. So need to delivery amounts, also need to letters, payable amounts, status, also need to clean this column here. Now need to count here the columns 1 2 3 4 5 and 6 columns, need to insert here the data and other informations, later updates, update query to update this data. Now need to cut here this query, and we need to paste this here for these orders. Now we need to pass this here the value, and we need to get this here the errors results insert Like here's need to get here's for this data. Now I need to write down here the if gets any errors, then to paste this here, and we need to write down here the insert results. Else parts need to set here the fail response msg fails, and inside we need to go here, put this here, this for each in the results. Now need to another db query to write down here the db dot query here's db dot query. Like here's need to set this here. First of all, the all needed informations need to put here user object dot user underscore id. Then after the payment types need to providing here the remove this here the status non needs need to clean this because need to always COD inside the payment success. That's why here not matters here the payment status. Request object dots like payment types. Request object dots need to set here the address, and request order dot attitudes. Request object dots need to set here the longitudes, and request object dots need to pass this here the zip codes. Need to set here. Now need to like this need to put here, and these data are the putting here. Now need to create here the query for the inserting this here the order items tables entry. We need to set here the cards informations we need to put here. Now need to go here the order item details, like here's go inside here the SQLs insert query need to put here. Now need to remove this here the value and to give this here the question mark like this. Need to remove here the order item ID, order ID, cards ID, price ID, offer ID. Now need to give this here the blank total amounts, offer amounts and payable amounts, and to give this here the reasons and status. Need to not needs here need to clean here, like need to put this query inside the insert. We need to call here, like here we need to set here the data. We need to call here for this query, like here. Then after uh, errors set item result item, like here. Again, so need to give this here the if conditions if any gets any error, and now need to check here the results items if found else parts. If not, then to fail this response need to paste this here like this sets, and if here successfully, and we need to write down here the thank you for order orders, like this need to thank you message for the successful you need to set here. Now you need to insert the all value need to count here. First of all, need to create here the array of these results, insert items blank array, and now need to call this here the insert items. Need to pass this here this value like this, and you need to call this here the push methods like here, and we need to first parameters need to give this here the order ID. Now need to results insert dot insert ID like this passed. Then after need to give this here the cart ID. Now need to give this here the this object to C object inside cart ID also need to bounce. Then C object dot price ID also need to pound here. like here. Then after need to give this here the offer ID. Now need to set here the 0. Then after need to give this here the total amounts of this. Need to calculate here the total amounts. Now you need to set here the total amounts is equal to, need to write down here the total amount equal to parse dot, and we need to call this here the C object. Dots need to pass this here the, need to call here the price. Need to find here the amounts. D dot, need to check here the column names of this table. Price details amount, like here's. We need to get here's, and also need to amounts and multiply by the quantity parse int, and to set here the object multiply by, not multiply, we need to give this here the qty, like here's, and to get this here the total amounts, like this value we need to put here, and you need to set this here the total amounts, this key we need to pass this here, like here's. Now offer always need to give this here the 0, because the offers need to set here the 0. Then after payable amounts as a same as the total amounts, like this we need to put here for this results, we need to configure here same as. Now need to cut this query here, this records need to paste this here. Now we need to get this here the where final total amount set here 0 0, where payable pay amount, pay total amount is equal to 0.0, like this past years. For this inserting here the columns, need to set here's, go here's and order details. Now need to go inside the structures, total order amount and user payable amounts, two key you need to insert here's, because need to get here this data, and user payable amount, like here you need to set here's. Then after where delivery amount, where, and we need to set this here the offer order amounts, like here's. Need to pass this here the columns, also need to set here's, and offer order amounts. And now need to add this here the for question mark, like here's. And now need to give this here the one by one solve value, total final totals, user payable amounts, delivery amount, and we need to set here the offer amount, like here. So need to set here. Now final amounts need to set here the final amounts is equal to final amounts plus, give this here the total amounts, like here's. And also need to set here this data, need to total amounts, so need to calculate here. Now delivery amounts and final payable amounts is equal to, need to write down here the total pay amounts, total amount plus delivery amounts. Next we need to configurations as total pay amounts, need to set here for these conditions, like we need to set this data for these payable amounts, and need to set here for this all things we need to set, and we need to pass this here the records, insert records, and this is are the calculations for the years for the placing orders. Now we need to done here, and yesterday we need to see this here the calculations of the offers amounts need to minus here, so need to explain in details. If you like this video, please give the thumbs up. If you're new user, so please subscribe my channels and press the notification bell icon. You can get every new video notifications and awesome content. If you have any question, so please write down the comment sections. I will help you and sort out your issue. Everyone have a nice day. Goodbye and take care.